resolution. So I believe that we can as well for final orders. He also, opposing counsel, I believe, also mentioned that in his response to our motion for mediation, that petitioner was concerned with the cost for mediation, and I believe that the DRC would be cost effective. Also, Judge, in regards to our request for continuance, I'd also like you to consider that we cannot get a hold of our client today. We have been trying since this morning. We haven't heard from him at all. He's usually very responsive to us. And in fact, he was communicating with us up until 9:22 last night with information that we could use for trial. So he clearly had an intent to be present and was engaged in this lawsuit, but we can't get in touch with him at all. And we just believe that he may be having some type of emergency this morning that prevented him from being responsive to us and being here today.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Syed. Mr. Osoro, if you would give me your response to those arguments on the motion to mediate, motion for continuance.
Judge, we are strongly opposed to continuance. The case was filed on October 8th, 2018. It will be 3 years old on Friday. We have been to mediation. We actually went to mediation on March the 12th of 2019, after there was an agreement on temporary orders. On February 20th of 2019, the parties met at the courtroom and we negotiated the terms of the temporary orders. And we filed that with the court, and the court signed an order on, I believe that was March 12th of 2019. So the mediation was for the purpose of finalizing the case, not for temporary orders, because the temporary orders was agreed to by self-mediation. So we already have temporary orders in place. We don't see a need to continue the case to another day because it's not going to produce anything. The mediation at the DRC was just not helpful because the respondent never agreed to anything. It's going to be a waste of time. It's going to be a waste of money. He has the habit of moving one step forward and then moving one step backwards. So we don't think there's a need for continuance on this case. We don't think there's a need to go to mediation. Now, like Ms. Syed said, I did mention at the beginning, after we left court on July 26th, that we should try an African-born lawyer, Attorney Pate Guatu, who is also a mediator, so we can get her to kind of bring the parties together because she understands the culture. We never got a response. We tried to get her to mediate the case. We never got a response. Now, at this last minute, I don't think we need to go to mediation. Not only will it cost Ms. Kasim money, she paid about $500 the last time, it's not going to produce any result, Josh. That's our position on the motion for continuance. As far as, and also mediation, as far as the motion to compel, we sent discovery to the
on the motion to compel. I don't want to get into that because that's not before me today.
Okay, Josh.
I do have a question though for you, Mr. Osoro, because I can tell you that the case is 1,094 days old. So you're right. It's going to be 3 years old and 2 more days. And that is too long. I understand that we had COVID and COVID delayed a lot of our cases. And that's one of the reasons that we have some of these cases that are 2-3 years old. But it's just not healthy for a husband or a wife to be in a divorce proceeding that long. It's not healthy for them. It's an emotional drain on the parties to be having all this uncertainty for so long, especially if there's children involved. So the court really wants to get this case done because it's a very old case. The problem that I've heard, and I want you to address, Mr. Osoro, is as a judge, I have to make a fair division of whatever property is out there. And so in order for me to be able to do that, I need to know what property husband has, what property wife has. And I'm at least hearing some arguments that there were some documents that were produced 48 hours ago, which under the rules may have to be excluded. And I want to make sure that if I hear this, that I hear it just one time, and that I hear it where I can actually make a wise decision as to how to divide up the estate. So I want you to address whether or not documents have been exchanged that are sufficient for me to actually know what's in this estate if we have a trial this afternoon. So if you can address that concern.
Yes, Judge. The parties have no community estate, Judge. They have nothing. So I don't know what they're trying to divide. We know that each one of them should have a car that they have in their possession. We know that each one of them may have some kind of bank accounts, but they haven't interacted with these bank accounts in 3 years. So we don't have anything really to divide, Judge. There's only very minimal property to divide. So there is really no big estate for them to divide. It's a marriage that lasted for 2 years. This man came from Nigeria to join his spouse. It lasted for less than 2 years and he was out of the residence. So really don't have anything together.
Okay, well, I know they may not have stuff together, and a lot of clients confuse that and think, well, because the bank account's in my name or the retirement account's in my name or the car, was purchased after we separated, they don't think that's part of the community estate. But as the lawyers know, that is all part of the community estate, and that's what I have to divide up. So even though they may have purchased things after they separated, it still is community property. So I just want to make sure I have all the community property if we're going forward with the trial today. Ms. Syed, I'll let you respond to that as well. And then I'll come back one more time to you, Mr. Usoro, and then I'll make a decision on these preliminary motions. But Ms. Syed, do you think I have enough information to go forward on the property and the debt contained in the estate?
I don't, Your Honor, and that's why I'm just asking for a very brief continuance. I don't know anything regarding petitioner's accounts. It's my understanding that she also has a teacher's retirement account. I know nothing of that. And that's my problem with this case going forward today, is that I can't value the community estate.
And when was your discovery sent out?
It was sent out early in August, Your Honor, and it was due early in September.
Okay, Mr. Usoro, if you can respond to that, and then I'll make a ruling.
Okay, so Josh, we received discovery, and it was that same discovery that we sent to the respondents 2 years ago. A lot of the wordings were not amended. In most of the requests, they referred to the respondent, to the respondent, to the respondent. We can't answer something he is asking of himself. So that's one issue. The other issue is that we had called and asked for time to respond to discovery because I was going through 3 briefs with federal courts. And we sent this to the Respondents Council, who was on the case as of July the 26th of 2021. We understand that she's no longer with the firm and she left. So some kind of way they did not communicate with she did not communicate with Ms. Fayed. And we just assumed that we got the extension that we were asking for. Now, a few days ago is when they called us to say, well, they sent an email saying that we let in our discovery request. We originally asked for time up to October the 4th, and we responded on October the 4th. And we gave them everything that we had. For those responses that are appropriate, when you ask a petitioner to give documents from the respondent, she is not able to respond because, Judge, she's not the respondent. So most of the requests were respondent because nobody did word perfect to change our questions from when it was petitioner to when it's now respondent. So we couldn't respond to something that was not appropriate, Judge.
Okay. All right.
Could I respond to that?
You may.
Your Honor, that's the first time I'm listening to there being an issue about respondent or petitioner. We have sent those responses as part of our exhibits today. From wherever I see, it says clearly that petitioner's documents are being requested. I did not receive a request for an extension till October 4th from Mr. Soro. I agree that there may have been miscommunication if he contacted my prior associate, Ms. Smith, about it. But regardless, I've always been primary counsel on this case. So he knew to contact me, and yet he did not. And of course, I would have not ever agreed to an extension till October 4th, which would be 2 days before trial. That doesn't make sense. I mean, I would definitely be open to working out with him an extension to his responses, but of course it would not be until October 4th, 2 days before trial.
George, may I respond, please?
It's okay. The motion for continuance and the motion to mediate are denied. We're going to go ahead and proceed with final trial today. This case is over 3 years old, and discovery really should have been completed a long time ago, and mediation should have been completed a long time ago. And I understand it was completed in 2019, but a lot of times when the cases drag on this long, I'll send y'all back to mediation just to give you another opportunity to settle the case. But I've got one side saying they're ready, and this case is 3 years old. So we're going to go ahead and proceed with final trial. Anyone that's going to provide testimony today, Ms. Gossam, if you would please raise your right hand to be sworn and unmute for me. And anyone else is going to testify, if you would raise your right hand to be sworn. Do each of you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're going to give in this cause will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
All right, you may put your hand down. All right, Mr. Osoro, you represent the petitioner, so you're going to be allowed to go first. And if you'd like to give me a brief opening statement, you may do so at this time.
Yes, George. So the marriage took place on June the 19th of 2013. The parties were separated on November 6, 2017. There was a child born during the marriage on March 20th of 2014. The child is now 7 years old. In the temporary orders that was signed by the court, the respondent was ordered to pay $620 a month in child support, and he has not paid that. So far, he has accumulated about $20,000 in back child support. He's only paid about $1,720 in child support. Also, the respondent has not exercised his visitation as he was supposed to. Over the last 2 years, he's seen his son twice, or maybe 5 times, I'm sorry. And as the petitioner would testify, he has not had physical contact with his son since this year started. I believe since this year started. So we would like the court to maintain the status quo as far as joint managing conservatorship is concerned, allow the child support to remain as it is, continue to allow the petitioner to be the parent with the custodial responsibility, and then grant the court the parties a divorce today. And that's a brief opening statement, Judge.
Thank you, Mr. Osoro. Ms. Syed, if you'd like to give a brief opening, you may do so.
Thank you, Your Honor. Your Honor, we are asking that the parties continue to be named joint managing conservators. We're requesting a standard possession order for our client in terms of possession and access. It's our understanding that he has not exercised possession of the child because of the fact that petitioner has not allowed him to do so. He has tried, and he's stated to us repeatedly that the child has told him he wants to visit with him, he wants to see him, but his mother is not allowing him to do so. And that's been our issue as well. We want to make sure that he has possession per a standard possession order. Also, in regards to the financials and the division of property, we're asking that all accounts that haven't been disclosed by petitioner be awarded 50-50, with 50% to be awarded to my client specifically, especially the teacher's retirement account that we do believe is in existence.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Syed. Mr. Osoro, you may call your first witness.
Yes, Judge, the petitioner calls Rahimat Kasim to the witness stand.
All right, you may proceed.
Ms. Kasim, please state your full name for report.
Rahima Amalara Kasim.
Now, Ms. Kasim, prior to filing your divorce petition, were you a domiciliary of the state of Texas for 6 months?
Yes,
And prior to filing your divorce petition, did you reside in Fort Bend County for 90 days?
yes,
Were you and your spouse married on or about June 19th of 2013?
yes,
Did you cease to live together as husband and wife on or about November 6th of 2017?
that's correct.
Has your marriage become insupportable because of discord and conflict of personalities?
Yes,
And has this discord and conflict destroyed the legitimate ends of?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that? It cut out.
Has the discord and conflict destroyed your marriage?
Yes,
Is there any reasonable expectation of reconciliation?
not at all.
Are you now pregnant?
No, I'm not.
Since marriage to Mr. Jalapano, have you had a child?
No, I have not.
Other than the child, was there a child born of the marriage?
Yes,
And what's the child's name?
Omar Finfolua Jalapamo,
And when was he born?
March 20th, 2014.
As to this child, do you want to continue to be joint managing conservator with Mr. Balamo?
Yes,
And you want to continue to be the custodial parent?
yes,
And would you like the child support that was contained in the temporary orders to remain the same?
yes,
And that being $620 a month.
yes,
Now, you had agreed in the temporary orders that you and Mr. Balamo will communicate through what is called talk parents. Is that true?
yes.
And you want that to remain in place?
It'd be nice. However, he said he didn't have money to pay for it, so he just switched over to WhatsApp.
Okay, so right now he communicates with you through WhatsApp. Is that a yes?
Yes, sorry, yes.
All right. Now, as to the child, over the last 3 years, 2 years since the temporary orders was signed, how much have you received in child support?
A total just over 1,000 or so. Between 1,000, 2,000. I don't know the exact number. I'm sorry.
Okay, as to that, as to the child support that was ordered in the temporary orders, do you want Mr. Bolamo to pay you the child support arrears?
The child support, sorry?
Arrears, the
Yes.
back child support.
Yes, yes, okay, yes.
And is your son in school?
He is.
And what grade is he?
He's in 2nd grade.
And how does he get to school?
I drop him off at the Children's Lighthouse Childcare in the morning. They take him to school via bus, and then they pick him up from school in the afternoon, and then I pick him up from daycare.
Has at any time during the last 2 years, did Mr. Bolamo ask to take the child to school?
No,
During the 2 years, by the way, you all were supposed to meet at a neutral place to exchange the child, is that correct?
yes,
And that is at the Walgreens on FM 1093, and I believe FM 1093 and Grand Mission, is that correct?
it's at Mason, FM 1093 in Mason.
Okay. Now, has Mr. Balamo ever asked you to let him pick up the child and you refuse to let him pick up the child?
Absolutely not.
How many times has he asked you to let him pick up the child since the last 2 years?
In the last 2 years, he asked to see the child. However, he said he didn't have means of transportation, and it was outside of our agreement.
Okay, he said he wanted to see his child, but he doesn't have a way of picking up the child. Is that true?
Yes, yes.
Now, what kind of work do you do, Ms. Kasim?
I'm a teacher.
And where do you teach?
I teach high school and A-Leaf ISD.
And what do you teach?
I teach engineering design.
Do you have a teacher's retirement account?
I do.
Do you know how much is in the account?
I don't.
What kind of debts do you have now?
Debts,
Yes.
my personal credit card debts.
And how much is in those credit cards?
Oh, maybe about 10,000.
And what are the names of the credit cards that you hold?
The names of the credit card are like the companies.
Yes.
I have a Capital One. I have a Chase Slate. I have a, what is this called? First Community Credit Union. Macy's. One more. Sorry. That's it.
Okay, you said the total is about $10,000?
About 10,000, yes.
Okay. Has Mr. Balamo been helping you pay any of these credit cards?
No.
Do you want the court to award you the debts that you have and award Mr. Balamo the debts that he has?
The debts for myself and his debts to himself, yes.
And you want the court to award you your vehicle that you have in your possession?
Yes.
What kind of vehicle do you have?
I have a 2013 RAV4.
Are you still paying for the car?
No, I've paid that off.
To the best of your knowledge, does Mr. Balamo have a car?
I know what he had in the past, but he says he doesn't have any vehicle now and he would have to find Uber or catch a bus. So I don't know what he has.
Is it true that at one time, at the early stage of your marriage, you owned a Lexus RX 350?
Yes, he purchased that without my knowledge.
And do you know what happened to the vehicle?
When we separated, he shipped his vehicle and all his belongings to Washington State. He told me he was going to California to seek work, and turned out he was in Washington State. He called about 4 or 5 months after our separation and said that he had crashed the car and it was totaled in Washington State in the snow.
Okay. Did he then buy a Lincoln MKX after that?
Yes, when he returned back to Houston, he had a Lincoln MK, whatever you just said. Again, that was just something that I saw when he would pick up our son.
To the best of your knowledge, do you know if Mr. Balamo has any car payments to make?
I don't know. I know he was making payments on the Lexus, but again, we separated and that wasn't information that I was asking.
Okay. Now, how much do you pay as cost for the daycare that you take your son to?
It ranges between about 90 to about 110, based on if my son is going to be there on days where there's no school, and then it's a full day, so they have to charge more because it's a full day, versus him just being before and after school. So it fluctuates depending on school holidays or anything like that.
And this
And
90
that's
to 100,
weekly.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry,
go
that's
ahead.
weekly. That's
Go ahead.
weekly.
Oh, that's weekly. Okay, that's what I was
Yes.
going to ask you. This is
Yes, that's
weekly.
weekly. Mhm.
And has Mr. Balamo helped you pay these daycare expenses
No,
since
he
you
has
separated?
not. He has not.
What about school supplies? Your son is in the 2nd grade now. Has Mr. Balamo helped you pay any school supplies for your child?
No, he has not. I notified him of it, I will tell you that. And his response to me, and his response to me was that the child tax credit is coming out. I should use that to support him.
So over the last 3 years or so since you separated, Mr. Balamo has not paid any expenses for your child's school. Is that correct?
Not specifically to his school, no.
Does your son go to school in a uniform?
No, he does not.
He goes to school with regular street clothes? Is that a yes?
Yes, I'm sorry,
Okay.
yes.
Okay. How many times has Mr. Balamo bought clothes for your son?
Never.
Okay.
Never.
And what about food? How many times has Mr. Bolahan brought food to your house to feed the child?
Well, he's never brought food to my house to feed him. He does not know where I live, for my personal, just for the safety of myself and my son. Also, I guess the only time that he has provided food for him was when my son would visit him, but he has never purchased groceries or anything of that nature.
What about, do you remember about the temporary orders that were issued by the court? Was Mr. Bolahan provided the 1st, 3rd, and 5th weekends to pick up and visit with your son? Is that correct?
Yes, he was.
And so since March 12th of 2019, since the temporary orders were signed to the present, can you tell the court how many times he has exercised that visitation?
According to the documents, the temporary custody order, he exercised those visitations 3 times. Then out of courtesy, he said he no longer had a vehicle. And so out of courtesy, I drove into Houston from Richmond to a park to allow him to see our son. So that was another time. And other than that, he'll do sporadic WhatsApp video calls. So in total, I would say 4 or 5 in person, face to face. The
And
last
that's-
time face to face was around June of 2020 at the kind of the beginning of the pandemic. And that's when I drove him out of courtesy to see his dad.
Okay, so June 2020, you drove your son to see his dad.
Mhm.
And since then, his dad hasn't seen him in person.
No,
And what reason is Mr. Bolahan giving you for not seeing his son in person?
He says he has no transportation, he has no job, he has no money.
All right, based on the pleadings in the courts filed and your testimony today before the court, you want the court to grant your divorce.
Yes, please.
And based on the pleadings in the courts filed, your testimony today before the court, you want the court to allow you to keep whatever assets you have, and Mr. Bolahan can keep his own assets. Is that
Yes,
correct?
yes, that's correct.
And based on the pleadings in the courts filed, you want the court to allow you to keep your debts and pay them, and Mr. Bolahan to keep his own debts and pay them.
Yes, please.
Based on the pleadings in the courts file and your testimony today, do you want to continue to be a joint managing conservator with Mr. Bolahan?
Yes,
And you want to continue to be the custodial parent?
yes,
And again, you're not pregnant, right?
I am not.
Very good. I'll pass the witness, Judge.
Ms. Syed, your witness.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ma'am, would you list with specificity all accounts you have in your name or you have access to?
You need every single specifically?
Yes.
Okay. I have, again, the cards that I told Mr. Usoro. You got those down already? I need to list it again.
So I need your accounts that are your assets, not just your credit cards.
Oh, I have my TRS and I have my 403B,
Okay. And do you know how much is in your 403B?
like 12,000.
Okay. And what about your TRS?
I don't know that.
Okay. And do you have any bank accounts?
I do.
Okay. Can you list what those are?
First Community Credit Union and Bank of America.
Do you know the account numbers or what they end with, the last four?
Yeah, you can give, if you know them, give the last 4 digits. Don't give the entire account number.
Bank of America is 1638. And $6102.
Okay. And do you know what the balance is for both of those accounts?
Well, one is $100.70. And the other is $68.07.
And aside from those two bank accounts, are those the only bank accounts that you have access to in order to pay your expenses?
Well, I have my savings within the First Community Credit Union.
Okay. And how much does that First Community Credit Union savings account have?
$1,820.38.
Do you know the last four digits of that account?
6101.
Okay, thank you. And in regards to the 2013 RAV4 that you said is paid off, is there any debt that's owed on that vehicle?
No.
Okay. Do you know approximately the value of the 2013 RAV4 if you were to?
No.
Would you agree with me that it's about valued at about $20,000?
Absolutely not.
Okay, so what value would you assign to that?
It's
vehicle?
definitely will be under 10,000.
Okay, so you think under 10,000? Okay. Now you mentioned that you haven't disclosed your address to Mr. Gelapamo. Is that correct?
Yes.
And does he have your phone number?
He does.
Okay. And so he normally will contact you through WhatsApp?
Yes, I tried to do the Talking Parents, I think is what it was called. And he refused. And so he said he couldn't pay for the app, which was $5 a month. So he switched over to WhatsApp, which was actually, it still works perfectly because then I was able to save how he harasses me and talks to me and his requests. So.
Non-responsive.
Sustain.
Ma'am, in regards to meeting Mr. Jalapamo, have you met with him at any other location other than the Walgreens that has been listed on your temporary orders?
Out of courtesy, I met him at a park somewhere off of Fondren and Westheimer that he said he was living at around there at the time.
Okay.
But that was that one time out of courtesy.
So you mentioned that he has told you that he's unable to pick up your child from school because he doesn't have a vehicle. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. If he did have a vehicle, would you be opposed to him picking your son up from school?
I wouldn't be opposed. However, given his statements to me about how he's crashed cars, in which, I mean, I know this is not, I guess, not information that can be included or whatever, but again, anyways, given the fact that he's crashed his cars and he told me he crashed the rental car that he got after the first crash of the car, I personally wouldn't feel safe, but I do understand that that's his father. So that's my son's father. So it's not saying that I'm opposed to it, but I'm a stickler for safety. So that makes me very weary.
Okay, I understand that completely. But you are in agreement that your temporary orders allows him to pick up the child from you at Walgreens, and there isn't any issue
Yes.
with driving.
Yes, which I did let him do.
Okay. And what possession schedule are you proposing for the court today?
We can keep the same schedule that we have. The weekends that he has, the temporary orders over there. The 10, I think it's 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. on the temporary orders.
Okay. And so is that your proposal for him to continue visitation for all of time until your child turns 18? Or would you be okay with him having a standard possession order, meaning that he picks up the child Friday after school on the 1st, 3rd, and 5th until Monday morning and drops him back to school?
I would rather it be how we have it now, and then that can be something, or we can kind of do a graduated plan to get there, because my son doesn't see him and is not familiar, and just to allow my child time to kind of familiarize himself with him. He's been gone for the past 4 years.
Okay, so I understand that. So you're proposing then to the court some kind of phased schedule leading to a standard possession schedule with him, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. I have nothing further, Your Honor.
Mr. Osoro?
Yes, Judge. Ms. Kazim, when did you start being a teacher? Well, let's go back to your background. Where did you graduate from college?
I graduated with my bachelor's in civil engineering from Howard University in Washington, D.C. And I obtained my master's in civil and environmental engineering from Rutgers University. That was the bachelor's was 2007 and my master's was 2012.
All right. And when you finish, after you graduated with a master's degree, did you go straight to working as a teacher?
No,
Your Honor, I object as to relevance here.
Overruled. You may answer that, ma'am.
I went to go work in an engineering firm in 2007 after I got my bachelor's. And while I was working, I obtained my master's. After obtaining my master's, about a semester or so, I transitioned into education.
Okay, so that will have been since 2008, is that correct?
Education?
Yes,
No, that was 2012.
2012. So you became a teacher in 2012. Did you start teaching at LF Independent School District?
No, I started in Fort Bend Independent School District.
Okay. At Fort Bend Independent School District, did you have a TRS account?
I did.
And at Fort Bend Independent School District, did you have a 403B account?
I did not.
When did you open the 403B account?
When I started in A-Leaf ISD,
And when was that?
2017? 17? Yes, 2017.
Okay. All right. When you started at Fort Bend County, did you have a TRS account?
At Fort Bend?
Yes.
No, I didn't have a TRS account.
Did you also open the TRS account after you started with LF Independent School District in 2017?
It rolled over. It stays with me as long as I stay in education. So it just followed me to the new school district.
Okay, so did you have it in Fort Bend County?
No, I had it in Fort Bend County. I thought you were
Okay.
asking, did I have it before starting in Fort Bend County?
Okay, no.
No,
You
I did.
have it
I
in
had
Fort
it
Bend
when
County.
I started in Fort Bend ISD, sorry. Is when my TRS started.
Okay. So when you transferred to LF Independent School District, then you roll over to LF.
It follows me, yes.
Okay. Do you know how much you had in the account before you got married on June 19 of 2013?
No, and honestly, probably not much, seeing as that I had just started. Although I was a teacher fall of 2012, I became teacher of record spring of 2013, which means that was the only semester that I had any money in my TRS.
Okay. Now, when you got married, you were married in Nigeria, is that correct?
Yes, I was.
Okay. And approximately how long did it take for you to go through the paperwork to bring your spouse to the United States?
2 years.
And so for the 2 years before you got here, you were not actually residing together, is that correct?
Objection.
that's correct.
Relevance, Your Honor.
What's the relevance, Mr. Osoro?
Josh, we're trying to show that Mr. Balamo is not entitled to any of Ms. Kasim's TRS or 403B account before he got to the United States.
Objection sustained.
All right, if and do you have any debts that were incurred by you and Mr. Bolahan when you guys were residing together?
Yes. That would be me paying the bills because he didn't have a job, taking or paying for or like giving him money to help with some of his like plane tickets to go for whatever job that he said he was going to interview for. And then like family trips that we try to take. Those are all debts that I guess as a result of the marriage, thinking that I was doing it out of love. Those were debts that I accrued with him.
Okay, so let me ask you this. Was there a specific credit cards that you had together when you were residing together?
No, all my credit, I never changed anything over to his name. We never combined any of our bank accounts. When he came, he opened all his own accounts. Everything that was in my name stayed in my name. Not one day did I change anything.
Okay, so did you use your own credit cards to buy things or stuff for the household?
Yes, I use my credit cards, my personal credit cards.
Do you remember exactly which credit card you used to buy things for the house?
It would be the Chase account, the Chase Slate card, and it would be the Capital One card.
Now, when Mr. Bolahan got to the United States, do you know how long it took him before he got a job?
Like I would say like 9 to 10 months. Because, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead. Okay, so during the 9 to 10 months, you were basically providing for him, is that correct?
Yes.
Is that a yes?
Yes, it is. Is this frozen? Oh, yes.
Okay. And you were paying the rent for your residence, is that correct?
Yes, it's correct.
And you were buying the food for the household, is that correct?
That is correct.
And you were paying the light bill for the household, is that correct?
I was paying the light bill, yes.
The gas bill, you were paying that too?
We didn't have a gas bill.
Okay. And what kind of vehicles did you own at that time?
Just my 2013 RAV4 that I owned.
And were you using that vehicle for transporting Mr.
Yes.
Mr. Bolahan?
Relevant, Your Honor.
Overruled. You may answer that, ma'am.
Yes, I was using the vehicle to go to work, and then I don't know how he would get around during the day, and then he would take my car as soon as I got home with our son.
Okay, were you paying car notes on that vehicle at that time?
Yes, I was.
Were you paying insurance on that vehicle at that time?
Yes, I was.
Were you paying for the maintenance of the vehicle at that time?
Yes, I was.
What other major item were you paying for other than food? As at when Mr. Balahan got here and did not work for about 10 months?
Our rent, light bill, internet. I was paying his cell phone at first. Like you said, food, gas, just the necessities for living. And then if we tried to go to places, then I would pay for hotel or anything like that.
Did you also buy his clothes?
His clothes, a lot of it he came with. When he obtained new clothes, I'm not sure how he got it.
Okay. And your son was about 2 years old when Mr. Balahan got here?
Yes.
Are you paying for all your son's necessities at that time also?
Yes, daycare, and everything else to provide for him.
Okay. I have no further questions, Josh, for the witness.
Ms. Syed?
Your Honor, I don't have any further questions for her.
Okay. Mr. Osoro, you may call your next witness.
Josh, that's all the witness we have at this time.
Okay, I have a couple of questions for you, Ms. Qasim.
Yes, sir.
One, does your husband have any other children that are under 18 that he has an obligation to support that you're aware of?
Not that I'm aware of, no. He has made a comment, but I don't know I don't know. No, I'm not aware of it.
And you said he's been unemployed. Do you know how long he's been unemployed?
Last I heard when we were doing mediation back in 2019, that's when I saw that he said he had a job. On the forms, it said something about Accenture, I think is where he was at. That's the last known job I know that he's had. All he tells me since then is he doesn't have a job. He doesn't have a job. He doesn't have a job.
Okay. Let me see.
And
Is
Your
there
Honor,
any reason, hold on, I'm gonna let y'all ask her questions after my questions. Has there ever been any kind of criminal charges filed against him or any kind of family violence that was the result of a protective order by
No,
him against you?
no, no,
So
sir.
so when y'all entered into these agreed temporary orders where pickup and drop off was at Walgreens, that was something just the two of you came up with?
Oh, no, that was during mediation. And we agreed on, we had to figure out a place or whatever. I'm sorry. We agreed on a location and somewhere that was kind of between us. And at the time he said he was in Katy or Cyprus. And so we just kind of picked a location and we came up with that.
All right, well, under normal orders, you're not inconvenienced in having to drive to do an exchange. The pickup and drop off is at your residence, and that's the way the state law kind of works. So there's a presumption of that. So if y'all are only allowed to communicate through WhatsApp and he's allowed to have visitation, would it be better for the visitation to take place or to start at your residence and end at your residence, so you're not having to drive somewhere each time there's a transition?
I'd rather drive somewhere because I don't trust him.
What do you mean you don't trust him?
He has made a lot of, he has said a lot of like very mean things. And I feel like the way in which he communicates with me and sometimes belittles me and tries to kind of ask our son, oh, well, what does your mom tell you? Or where does your room, what it look like? You know, I understand he wants to see, but it's the safety of my home. This is the reason why I just, from the unit that we were together in, I moved out of that unit. I just don't feel comfortable because in our communications, and he's just been, sometimes he's harassing, and it's very uncomfortable. And for my safety and my peace of mind, and I have to protect my sanity, I don't feel comfortable with him knowing where I live. I've been told, or he says that he has learned cybersecurity, and he has sought out some friends of mine online who I don't even know how he did that, because the platform, I don't even, on social media, I don't follow these people, yet he is requesting them and they're saying, how did he get my information? So for me and my sanity, especially knowing that he understands IT and how to do all that computer stuff and find people, I don't feel comfortable.
So
I would be inconvenienced myself to
what that
drive.
would
I'm
hold on,
sorry.
just so you understand what that would mean is every time that he's entitled to visitation, which would normally be a few times a month, you're going to be driving to a Walgreens and sitting there for 30 minutes. And if he doesn't show up, you just wasted 30 minutes of your day. And if you don't show up at that Walgreens and he shows up, you would be in violation of a court order and potentially going to jail for 6 months for not allowing him to have his access. So when someone's inconsistent with their visitation, as a judge, it normally makes sense to have pick up and drop off at your residence. Because then if he doesn't show up, well, you and the kid aren't sitting in the car for 30 minutes waiting for him at some Walgreens. So knowing that, you're going to have to, whether he shows up or not, historically, you're going to always have to go to Walgreens, for example, every other Friday. That's what you want to do.
Yep.
And you think that's what's best for your child?
I guess no, in the sense that, he will see that, oh, his dad is not coming to pick him up. I get that part. I understand that. But I feel like at 7 years old already, he's seen that already. And my child remembers a lot. Unfortunately, he remembers a lot of even the arguments that we had from when he was 3. So he's seen it already. With any other person who was normal, or I felt was a normal person, and not, I'll just leave it at that. Any other person, I would be open. Since the beginning of this, I didn't even really want to get attorneys involved. I just said, let's go ahead and if we go in it at it together, we agree that we no longer want to be in this marriage. If we go in it at it together, let's just do it this amicably, and we can solve this with the least amount spent. He said requesting child support is not an amicable solution, and got angry. I don't trust someone who accuses the child's mother of inappropriateness. He's not a normal person. And that's why I don't feel comfortable allowing him into our safe space. He has asked my son while he's been on the phone with him that I really want to come to your house, but your mom won't let me. Yes, I don't let him come to my residence because this is where I feel safe and where I get to protect my sanity and protect my son.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Let me see if I have any other questions. Oh, do you have health insurance on your son through work?
I do.
Do you know how much that costs you per month?
For just him, because it's together, like
The law is just his portion. If you don't know that amount, you don't know it, but I was going to see if you do know it, or do you have an estimate on what you think it would be just for your son?
I don't know, because the way it's set up, it's the individual and children. And so they don't have it broken like children cost this much or individual cost this much. But I can tell you how much it costs per paycheck, which is twice a month.
How much is that?
And this is just for the healthcare or health, vision, all of it.
We're going to go through each one because I need to know both. What is the
Okay.
health insurance per check?
So health per paycheck, which would be twice a month, is $165. Let me pull I'm sorry, I just want to pull up my
It does have the breakdown if you have it. It'll have employee only and then employee and children, and you just
Okay.
subtract the two, and that would give you the number. But
okay, so let me I'm trying to sorry.
Based on what I've heard, his reimbursement to you is going to be capped. So what you told me is enough. That's really all I need. So do you have dental as well?
Yes, that's around 45 a paycheck.
Okay. And then are you aware of any assets that your husband has?
No, I'm not aware of any assets he has.
Okay. All right. Any questions after my questions? We'll start with Ms. Syed.
Your Honor, I don't have questions of her, but I believe that our client is having trouble logging in, but Ms. Holmes, my co-counsel, was able to get him on speaker, I believe.
So he can log in. I mean, I haven't had anybody come in my waiting room, but if we can give him the meeting ID, he's going to have to be visible because it's a courtroom. So if he's going to testify, he'll need to come onto the screen.
Yes, sir.
So do you want to give him my meeting ID? We can, but let me finish with this witness. After my questions, Ms. Syed, you said you don't have any questions of Ms. Qasim?
No, sir, I don't.
Mr. Asor, do you have any questions after my questions?
Yes, Judge, I just wanted to know if Miss Kasim, does your son have vision insurance?
No, well, no vision.
Okay.
It's done through medical.
Okay, anything else, Mr. Asor?
Just one quick one. Does your son go to a public school or private school?
He goes to a public school,
Public school, okay. No further
but he goes
questions.
to daycare after public school, which is a separate setting.
And that's the one you pay $124, I mean, $90 to $110 a week.
Yes.
Yes, okay. All right, no further questions for the witness.
Ms. Syed, any further questions of this witness?
Nothing further of this witness, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Osoro, any other witnesses that you would like to call?
I'd like to call Mr. Bolahan as an adverse witness if he's logged in already.
He hadn't logged in yet, but I think we're working on that. How much time do you think it'll take to get him on, Ms. Holmes? Do you know? We're going to go off the record while we work on a witness issue.
Okay, all right.
Ms. Holmes,
Judge.
we're off the record, but do you have an estimate on how much time it's going to take him to get logged on?
Yes, sir. I want him to get the location to find the log on as soon as possible. He knows the urgency, so I'm assuming he will any minute, sir.
I didn't catch that. Did y'all? It was breaking up on me. Ms. Syed,
yeah.
could you give me an update?
Yes, Your Honor. I think she stated that he is trying to log in right now. Maybe if we could have about 15 minutes and hopefully we can get him on.
Well, what we're going to do is I normally take an afternoon break around 3 to 3:15. So I'll just take it a little bit early. And because I'd like to give him an opportunity to present his side of the case. I think it'll help me make
Thank
an
you, Judge.
decision. So, but that being said, we're in trial. Trial was set at 9 a.m. this morning. So I'm not gonna, if I come back and he's not available, we're gonna go ahead and finish the trial. But why don't we take an afternoon
Yes, sir.
break? We'll resume in 15 minutes. So just prior to 3 o'clock, about 2:57. We're going off we're off the
Yes,
record.
sir.
All right,
Thank you.
Judge.
Thank you, sir.
I think I'm gonna be done by 4. Am I on?
All right, Ms. Syed and Ms. Holmes, get your videos up and running.
Yes, sir. We are waiting for our client to connect.
I think someone's
sir.
connecting. I changed his name because I figured it was him, but it's saying
sir.
he's still connecting to audio.
Yes,
sir.
I believe it's him.
maybe someone can call him and help him. I know he needs to click join with audio and join with video when he's joining, so. I'm not
Yes,
sure
Judge.
what's-
Hello? Okay, I have to scroll.
Sure, see if you can get your video up and running now.
I'm doing that right now. That took a while.
There we go.
There we are.
All right, we're gonna get back on the record. Mr. Sir, just one second. I'm gonna go through a couple of rules with you because you weren't here at the beginning of the trial.
Okay,
There's a machine that's taking down everything that anybody says today. And so it's real important that we only talk one at a time. So you're about to get questioned by the lawyers. Just make sure you let them finish their question, even though you may anticipate what they're asking. Just let them finish the question before you start giving an answer. Okay? Okay, the court's back on the record in cause number 18 DCV 255805. Mr. Usoro, we are still on your case in chief or your client's case in chief. And I believe you wanted to call Mr. Halapamo as an adverse witness. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor, yes.
All right, Mr. Halapamo, if you would please unmute for me. And if you would raise your right hand to be sworn. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony that you're going to give in this cause will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I swear.
Okay, Mr. Osoro, you may proceed.
Yes, Judge, thank you. Mr. Bolahan, please state your name for the court.
My name is Bon Jalapamo.
And how old are you today, sir?
I'm 36 years old.
How are you employed?
How am I employed? Today, anyway, because I've been unemployed for the past 2 years and getting unemployment benefits as well. So today, I just started about a week ago. In Allied, a company called Allied Security. It's a security company.
And what is your title there?
What is my title in the company?
Yes.
I'm a security officer.
How many hours a week do you work?
I just started work there. I'm just wondering where you're going with all the questions. It's Faisal.
So answer the question. You don't have an objection to make. Answer the question I'm asking you. You said you started last week. How many hours a week are you working?
The ranges is meant to be 40 hours, but it ranges. And the reason why I'm asking you this question is because I believe I'm here for a reason as well, sir. And
Hold
I have
on.
the right to ask
Hold
the
on,
question, I believe.
Hold on. No, you don't ask questions. You're just answering questions today. Your lawyer is going to get to ask you questions. So she's going to let you tell your side of the story and what all you want to tell the court. But right now you've been called as an adverse witness. What that means is Mr. Osoro gets to ask you questions first. And I need you to just answer those questions that are asked. And then your lawyer will get an opportunity to let you explain yourself and tell what you want to tell me once he's done. Okay. So the answer was about 40 hours a week, but it varies. You may continue, Mr.
Yeah, and I
Osoro.
just told him that I just started the job a week ago.
Right.
And I believe this case is about a lady, a marital lady called Lara Kasim that I got married to in Nigeria. And the reason why I asked Mr. Okosoro that question is because he's asking about my job.
Right.
All right, sir.
Wait,
Just, I'm
And
sorry,
those are different institutions, different cases. One is marital, one is my job. And that's why I felt, what is going on. I just started a week ago. You must understand that I've been unemployed for 2 years.
I heard that. I hear it the first time I hear it. I don't need to hear it 3 times. Mr. Osoro,
Sir,
next
yes,
question.
sir.
okay. How much are you paid per hour, Mr. Bolahan?
Right now, I'm scheduled at $10 an hour. So you can understand you're asking me
Sir,
marital.
you
I'm yes,
answered
marital.
you've answered the question. Stop right there.
No, I'm just
Stop
expressing my right to speech. I
Stop
can
right
speak.
there.
Freedom
You
of
answered the
speech.
question. Stop
Freedom
right
of
there.
speech. I'm just saying freedom of speech. I'm just expressing myself. I'm not
No,
saying
there's a
anything
procedure
wrong.
in court that you
I'm
have
not saying
to
anything
follow.
wrong.
Sorry. There's a procedure you follow in court. You answer the question and you shut up.
Okay.
Oh,
so
hold on.
Unnecessarily.
no freedom of speech is what I'm
Listen,
saying.
hold on.
I'm just expressing my mind.
Hold on. Let me tell you something, everybody. This court has the power to lock you up for 6 months if you don't do what the court says to do. And that's for each violation. So it's getting out of control. I don't lose my temper very easily, but you're about to see me lose my temper. So stop. We're going to follow the procedures of the court, or I'm going to get somebody's attention. And if I need to send deputies out to pick somebody up, I will do that. So everybody needs to behave. Sir, I'm going to let you tell me everything that you want to tell me. And your lawyer is going to pull that information out of you. They're very good lawyers and they know what they're doing. So you're going to get to tell me everything you want to tell me. But right now, just answer Mr. Osoro's questions. And Mr. Osoro, if you have a problem with the way the witness is answering, you object and you let the court address that. You don't do that yourself. All right, next
Judge.
question.
I apologize, Judge. All right, so the last 2 years, you said you were receiving unemployment. How much were you getting a week?
So it was unemployment from my company, unemployment benefits. I used my company to get that unemployment. I was getting, the tax forms are there. I can send that to Pfizer as well. I thought I was going to send it last night. I did not. The emails are there. So the unemployment benefits. Sorry, I'm trying to think about the figure, the exact figure. I want to give you a figure because I know you have records. So the unemployment benefits, I was getting. It ended January of this year because I was doing a job, call center, work from home with Perceptor. That's a customer service company. So right before January of this year, the unemployment I was getting, it was intermittent. It was not continuous, but it was there. It was there. I was using that to pay for my rent, pay for expenses around.
Objection, non-responsive.
Sustained.
No figure right now. But when I send the statements to my team, maybe they'll send you the figures, the sheets.
Objection to the sidebar.
Sustained. If you don't know, hold on. If you don't know an answer, you can say I don't know. There's I don't expect you to know every answer.
Okay, got it. I don't know. Thanks. That'll be simpler.
So from January of 2021, when your unemployment ended to the present,
yeah,
what kind of work were you doing? Other than the security
customer
job
service with Perceptor. I was with Perceptor, customer service. That's what I said, mentioned, yes. That's what customer service with Perceptor. The company is Perceptor.
And that was from January 2021 to when you got your job as a security officer?
There was a 3-month lapse. I was looking for another role. So I just got that a week ago. So from January to May, then May, June, July, August, correct? About 4 months lapse because I just got that a week ago.
Objection non-responsive, Mr.
4 months. It was a
Bolanha.
4 months lapse from May. I got it. I lost the job in May. Perceptor was lost in May, is what I said. Then 4 months after that.
I heard you the first time. Mr. Sora,
Okay,
next question.
Thanks.
While you were working at in customer service, how much money were you making?
Customer service. That was $15 an hour. Yeah.
And did you work
$15 an
40
hour.
hours? Did you work 40 hours a week?
I bet I did. I'm pretty sure I did.
From
Yeah.
what time to what time did you work in customer service?
I think we was meant to log in at 9 a.m. in the morning.
And what time would you get off?
5, around, yeah, 5, 6, and 5. Yeah, that's a standard, right? So that was it. Yes, 5, 10 to 5.
Did you work on weekends?
Not quite. No.
What day and month did you start working in customer service?
It was around first week. Let's put it no, 18th of January should be 3rd week. That was a Monday. Then 3rd week, Monday, January 18th, 2021.
And when did you start working in customer service?
Some day in May. I can't remember.
Okay. And so from May of 2021 to when you got the job as a security officer, you were unemployed, is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
Did you also get unemployment benefits for that period?
I don't think so. No, I didn't.
How
There
did
was
you
no
support?
income.
How did you support yourself?
Good question. There was pantries around, giving food. Apply for stamps that came through.
You got food stamps? Sorry,
Yep.
sir. For that
Yep.
period after May of 2021 until you got a job as a security officer, you say you got food stamps?
Before, yeah, I had food stamps, 1 month of food stamps. 1 month of food stamps. Got food in the house. I was cooking, I wasn't eating out. I was eating myself.
Okay.
Yeah.
So stay with me, sir. Stay with me so that we can have a record, please.
Okay.
So from May of 2021 to about June of 2021, you were on food stamp?
May, June, about, yeah. No, not exactly May, even, probably around August, because I bought food when I lost my job. So I had food in the house. So yeah, I could eat and yeah, I sustain myself pretty much is what it is. It's just what it is.
How did you pay your rent? Did you have your own, first of all, did you have your own apartment during this period?
Yeah, correct.
How much were you paying in rent?
Rent. My rent is about $850. I sent a list to my team. $850.
Okay, from which period, from what day and month did you start paying $850 a month in rent?
I think I moved in around March of this year. Yeah, moved March, April or March. One of those days in the month. That's when I moved out of Missouri City and I moved to where I am right now, Texas, Houston, sir.
Okay, and let me be clear. So you moved to your current residence.
Around April or March, late March. I can't give you an exact month, but around April, March.
Okay, and how long did you stay there?
I've been here for 4 months now, 4 or 5 months.
Okay, so you're still in the same place that you moved from. You moved to in March of 2021, is that correct?
Yes.
Is that a 1-bedroom or 2-bedroom apartment that you're staying in?
1 bedroom.
And what is your current address?
10750 Westbury Parkway, Houston, Texas.
I'm sorry, so I didn't get you.
10750 Westbury Parkway. Westbury, Westbury, is a word. Westbury Parkway, Houston, Texas, 77031.
Do you have an apartment number?
02056.
Is it a 1-bedroom or 2-bedroom?
So it's a 1 bedroom. I think I said that. Yeah, I
Okay.
did.
And do you have a bed for your son to sleep in if he comes
Yes.
to visit?
Yes,
And where is the bed located?
in the bedroom.
So you have 2 beds in the same 1-bedroom?
No, I plan to sleep in my on my couch right here. It's compatible. So well, yeah.
Okay, so when your son visits, you will move to the couch and let him sleep on the bed. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I will do that. I will do that.
When did you get married to Ms. Kasim?
2013, I believe.
And where did y'all get married?
We got married in Lagos, Nigeria.
Did Ms. Kasim file papers for you to come to the United States?
Through your company, I believe. You are the wrong. Yes, I believe through your company. You should ask her directly, not me as well. That's a direct question for Ms. Kasim. But that was through your company, I believe.
Okay, did you pay any of the expenses for the filing that she did to bring you to the United States?
I don't, I did not bring any money out of my pocket for that filing. And I believe she told me a mother paid $3,000 to you, to your company. I didn't see the receipts though. I just by words. So you have to ask her.
Objection non-responsive. I'm asking you.
Sustained.
Well,
if you don't know, sir, you don't know.
okay, let's say I didn't pay out of my pocket, but yes, through the mother, Lara Kasim's mother. I don't, well, yeah, that's what she told me. That's what Lara told me.
Okay. And did you arrive in the United States somewhere in 2015?
Yes, I did. And I'm
Which
still
month
here
did you
right now.
Sorry, sir. Just stay
Yes.
with me. Which month did you arrive in 2015?
I can't remember right now. Let me get my wallet. I have my wallet. I don't know who this is trying to call me.
So you don't have to use anything to refresh your memory. If you don't know the answer, just say you don't know.
All right, Judge, may I proceed?
You may.
And when you arrived in the United States, were you processed at the airport, Mr. Bolahan, by
Yes.
Customs and Border Patrol?
Yes, I was.
And did they process you for what is called a permanent residency status?
Objection relevant, Your Honor.
Sustain.
I
Let's
understand.
move on
That's
to-
why.
Hold on, sir. I would sustain the objection. That means you don't have to answer it. Mrs. Usora, let's focus on custody, visitation, support, and property, please.
Yes. And when you arrived in the United States, when was the first time that you got a job?
Objection relevance.
Overall,
Josh is good. I'm sorry.
Yeah, because he said, custody, we should maintain a track. So should I still answer it? He said we should maintain a
yeah,
track.
on
but
this
now
one, yeah, if I
is it going-
overrule it, that means you can answer. How long do you remember how long it took you to get a job after you got to the US?
Well, my first job was with Macy's as a security man at Macy's. So it must have taken me, I don't know. Sorry.
Okay. Before you got that job,
Yes.
who paid the rent for your residence?
Still on the, okay, still marital. Well, it was split. It was split.
And how was it split?
Well, I think she, at first, we moved into her sister's house. So we didn't pay the sister. Then we moved into the father's house. We didn't pay the father. I mean, these are short moves though, before we now moved into an apartment.
And when you
Time
move into the
flies.
apartment, how much was the rent?
I cannot remember, but that apartment was a 2-bedroom. I was probably about $1,000, $1,200. About probably, I don't know why. I don't know, sorry.
Did you pay any?
About
did you pay-
$1,200.
Okay. And how long did you all pay $1,200 for rent?
For as long as we stayed there.
How long did you stay there?
I don't know. Probably a year. We used up the lease. Probably left a month or so earlier. Oh, we used it up. I don't know. But we stayed there for a while. I mean, a month or two before the lease was up. A year? Yes, probably. Before we moved to Richmond.
How much of the
stayed-
$1,200 a month did you contribute in rent?
I don't know. But I know.
Now let me ask you this. Did you-
I know.
And
Mhm.
asked to answer.
Sustained.
yeah.
I don't know.
Did you buy any food for your residence when
Okay.
you
So
were
you want
working
to
at
talk about
Macy's?
my contribution in the family, my financial contribution in the family is what you're asking me, sir. So what it is was that I did not have, I don't know. Oh, I just heard an echo, sorry, they say someone, I thought the judge just said, I don't know.
No, I didn't hear. I didn't say
Did he say
anything.
anything? Okay, sorry, let me go ahead then. So I had help as well. And she had help, and she knew my situation that I will come into the country and get a job. That is how it's meant to work. I come into the country and get a job. So and that's a process. It works. And I'm trying. So and I'm applying as well. I'm applying to companies as well. So she was contributing part to the rent, and I was contributing as well. I did not let her just float there without, I told her I was coming to make a meaning somehow. So I don't know why you call it the financial, because I'm thinking we're going to be talking about issues. But yes, that's it.
How much did you pay in rent a month, Mr. Bolahan?
I don't have the record right now, but I had $15,000 for a father figure from Nigeria. He gave me $15,000, and I used that to support all through till I got a job. And that was okay. And we're trying together, pretty much. We're pulling, and it didn't take so much long. After a period of time, I got a job. And my first job, I believe, was Macy's. I can't remember the start date of the job with Macy's. But if you look at the start date of the job with Macy's, when I entered the States, I mean, I think it was a month or 4 weeks or I don't know, six weeks or something. If you want to see the estimate time on which I started working when I got to the States. The first job was Macy's. Look at the start date of Macy's. I don't have that right now, but we can contact Macy's.
All right. So How long did you live together with Miss Kasim?
So we stayed a year in two apartments, so about 2 years approximately. In the same house, yes, 2 years.
Out of the 2 years, how much did you think you contributed in expenses for the household?
As much as I stayed there and as much as I brought, because I worked at two places while I was there. I was working. It's not like I was folding my hands and not bringing a penny or a dime to the house. So I was. As much as I worked and as much as I stayed there, I contributed. In figure, I cannot say, but as much as I stayed there, so that's the lifetime of the relationship while I was there. That's the lifetime, pretty much. I didn't take a penny or a dime. No, not for a second.
When you arrived,
to the rent in Richmond. When we were in Richmond, I paid the rent because I was working in Accenture. That Accenture is an international recognized company. So I paid the rent there with my money. The whole time we were there, I paid the rent. And she made a mistake, $1,000 mistake on the tax. I paid that for her. I didn't take her dime. Not one time, sir. Not one time.
Objection non-responsive.
Oh, I'm just saying.
Hold on, sustain. Next question. But I can tell you, the court understands that what wife makes is community income. So I don't want to get bogged down on this because she has a duty to support him. He has a duty to support her. And it's really not going to factor into my decision of what I'm doing today.
All right,
so
Judge.
we can move on to a new topic, please.
All right. When did you leave your marital residence, Mr. Bolahan?
So I left for a contract job in California. And after that job, I just couldn't go back. And that was when the rent in Richmond was about to expire. Because I was paying the rent all through. I knew I was going to continue paying the rent. And if I cannot continue paying the rent, when Lara is in the house, I know what is going to happen to me. I can't focus. I can't do nothing. But as God will have it, I had a contract job in California. And I went to California and I didn't come back to Houston. Sorry, I think that was, I don't know, probably before the rent ran out.
When did you leave Houston, your marital residence, to California?
I can't remember the exact date and day. I can't remember the exact date, but when the rent ran out, I stopped paying the rent. We were going to stay there for 12 months, right? I was paying rent as well, but I was working. I can't remember the exact day and date.
What's the objection, Ms. Syed?
Asked and answered, Your Honor.
Sustained.
I can't remember the exact day and date exactly.
Sir,
but,
just wait for the question. Next question.
Okay.
Now, after departing your residence, you said you moved to California. Did you move to any other state?
From California, I sustained a project, Salesforce project, and moved to Washington.
When you moved to Washington State, did you have a vehicle?
Yeah, I did. I had my Lexus.
And what year was your Lexus?
It was a 2000. You're making me feel like I'm bragging, sir. This is not a joke. It was a 2000 and was it 16, 17? I don't know. Lexus, but it was just a car. It was just a car.
Okay,
and she wasn't happy I got the car.
So sorry, was it 2016 or 2017 Lexus?
I don't know. Was it 2018? I don't know.
Okay.
Wait. I remember the model.
So it's okay to say you don't know. I'm sorry.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
I remember the model. I think it was. Sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
And was that an RX 350?
Yeah.
What was the value of the vehicle when you bought it?
I can't remember, but I know that I could cover the cost of the rent. I was working in Accenture, or what was the company? Infosys. I could cover the cost, and I had a job. I was employed. And it was I didn't buy a whole price. Sorry, it was a credit. I had my credit through. It was I was paying a monthly of about so I didn't buy on a So it was with you have to go to probably the Lexus at the Lexus was where? West Side Lexus, yes.
How much were you paying monthly?
Oh, I can't remember now. I can't remember. That was my first car, 2015, 16. Can't remember, but it was in the hundreds.
Okay. And Did you wreck this vehicle when you were in Washington State?
Yes. I was on ice.
Was the vehicle paid off?
Yes, by AAA.
How much did you receive on the vehicle?
They paid directly to the other guys. They didn't pay to me. But
Was
I already paid some months as well.
you did not receive any money for the Lexus?
No.
Where did the money come from for you to make a deposit to purchase the Lexus?
I think it was 2000. I can't remember. I can't remember. But I mean, the money came from the job I was doing anyway at that point in time. I was a Salesforce developer, architect.
Okay, so after you wrecked the Lexus, did you buy another vehicle?
Down the line, I did, yes.
Was it a Lincoln MKX?
Yes.
When did you purchase the Lincoln MKX?
I can't remember the date.
How much was the cash value for the Lincoln MKX?
I can't remember.
How much were you paying a month?
I can't remember.
Now, when you moved to California and then we moved to Washington State, how long were you gone from Houston?
I can't remember.
And where were you residing in 2017?
That's when I left to California.
You left in 2017?
Yeah. Also, I don't know.
If I say if I say you left November 6th of 2017, would that
okay,
refreshing your
2017,
memory?
exactly. So my gauges are right. I'm using some things to gauge it, you see. Not like I keep the date, but yes, 2017, because I said 2 years. Yeah.
All right. So while you were in California and then up to Washington State,
Yes.
how many times, by the way, how long did you stay in Washington State?
I can't remember. Oh, well, for a while though, because I was a Lyft driver there in Washington State. I was driving Lyft to earn money, income.
Were you in Washington State in 2018?
Partly, yes, I believe.
Okay. During the time that you were in Washington State, how many times did you come to Houston to visit with your son?
When I left Washington State, I never returned back to Washington. I was always in Houston.
I'm asking you, when you were in Washington State,
yes,
how many times did you come to Houston to visit your son?
I was driving Lyft in Washington State, and when I was driving Lyft, I sent money from the Lyft driving that I was driving.
So, objection, non-responsive.
Sustained. He's just asking, he's not asking if you sent money or what you did. He's just asking, did you come?
How many
visit your
times?
son?
And I told him, sir, that for this, I said only, I'd never returned back anywhere. When I went back to Houston, I never went back to Washington State. So the time of my stay in Washington State is probably 6 to 8 months. Once my car was wrecked, I left there because that was what I was using to sustain myself for job. I left Washington State. I came to Texas, Houston, Texas.
From the time you left Houston or wherever you were residing in the suburb of Houston to California and Washington State, how much time had elapsed before you came back to Houston?
Please, you can recollect me if I'm wrong, but I don't know, probably maximum. It didn't pass a year. I don't think it passed a year. 1 year.
For that 1 year that you were out of the state of Texas.
I'm not saying 1 year. I'm not saying 1 year. I'm saying it did not pass 1 year.
Okay. Well, let's just say it did not pass 1 year, about a year.
It could be 6 months.
My question is, how many times did you come to Texas to visit with your son?
Do you want a figure in this discussion, in this answer? You want a figure? 0.
Okay. When did you come back to Houston or the Houston area?
I can't remember.
Did you come back in 2018 or 2019?
I can't remember.
Objection asked and answered, Your Honor.
Overall, but he's
I can't
answered it.
remember.
He doesn't remember.
I can't remember.
Did you own an apartment in Houston in 2018?
Oh, was that what it was when I got back? When I
Yes.
got back from what was that now? Washington. When I got back from Washington, I had no place to stay.
You had
In
no
fact,
apartment? Excuse me,
yes.
sir. You had, when
Yes,
you
I
came
had no
back,
place to stay.
you had no
Friends,
apartment?
friends hosted me. Yes, I was hosted initially. I had no place
How
to
long
stay.
did you?
Because remember, my car was wrecked. I had no place to stay when I got back. I had nothing. I had
How
nothing.
long did friends host you, Mr. Bolahan?
I can't remember, but they were feeding me. I can't remember. But I was trying my best.
Did your friends host you through the whole of 2018 and fed you through the whole of 2018?
Okay,
Objection.
this is it.
relevant,
This
Your
is
Honor.
it. I was trying my best at that period.
Hold on.
You want to hear
Objection
my story?
sustained.
Oh, I don't
You
understand.
don't
Okay.
answer that.
Did you own an apartment in 2019?
So I tried to get a job because this is how it went. I got back from Washington. I was applying. I called my friends in Miami that, look, I'm going through problems. Then I went to Miami. You have to understand. I went to Miami, then I got a job with Accenture. That's my second job here. No, but third job, because first is with Macy's, second was with Infosys, and third was with Accenture. Then I got a job with Accenture as a software architect in Salesforce, senior developer in Salesforce. Then I got a job. That job was in Houston. So now from Miami, because look, I went from Washington, so I have to take a cruise. I went from Washington to Houston, and from Houston to Miami to be with my friend a little bit again. And they gave me some money for flights. When I got that job back, they gave me money. I came back to Houston, and this is after my accident, after I almost died in Washington when my car tumbled. So I'm back right now from Miami to Houston, and I had no place to go because I had a job in Accenture, with Accenture in Houston, Texas, and I was in Miami. I had to fly down from Miami to Houston. And when I got to Houston, I had no place to go, but I had a job, a full-time job, but I had no place to go. When I got to the airport, I met an individual, a man, and the man said I should not go to any hotel. He said that I should come to his house and I should work from his house and I should do my master's degree from his house because I just got accepted for a master's degree as well. And that was how I never met this man from anywhere. I just met him here. And that's why I was staying in Baker Street in Houston, Texas. I just met him at the airport and he decided to host me. I was paying rent there. I mean, because I was working in Accenture. I was paying rent there. And
So
yeah.
while you were in Washington State,
Yes.
how much money did you send for the maintenance of your child?
As long as I was driving Lyft, I sent more because she called me that I should send her money for when I leave. I said, look, I'm leaving for my car. I have no house. I'm driving Lyft. This is what I'm used to. I'm not getting any state employment. I didn't know anything about state employment then. I was just driving. So
is it fair to say that you don't know how much you sent for the support of your child in 2017?
Yeah,
2018
but
when
I
you were in
sent
Washington
money while I was driving Lyft. Yes, but I was sending money while I was driving Lyft. So that was a communication. But I did send.
How much did you send?
Is it fair? I mean, okay, I'm not meant to ask that
Objection.
question.
Relevance, Your Honor. There's no.
Sustained.
In 2018, how many times did you take possession of your child?
0. And I've been here for almost 7 years now. There's no bond, there's no relationship.
Okay.
Is a distant child now to me. It's
All right,
distant.
sir. Now, after you came back from Miami, you stay with this man, did you then move out of the man's house to get your own apartment?
Well, I was moving on from Miami. I was staying with Kenny. Like I said, I had an Accenture job. I was staying with Kenny. And from Kenya, I was doing my master's degree, and I was going to work downtown Houston in Fanning Street with Accenture.
While you were at Accenture, how much money did you pay to Ms. Kasim to support you?
While I was at Accenture, I had expenses to pay. I was paying rents, I was paying everything, and I was still sending money to her. Yes,
How
I
much money
was.
were you? How much
I
money were
don't
you
know.
sending to her?
know.
Objection, relevance, Your Honor. There's no
don't
pleading
know.
for retroactive.
But I was still sending money to her. Is the fact and the
Sustained.
truth. But I
Hold
was
on,
paying
hold
my
on.
rent. I was
It's
paying my rent. I was
sustained.
paying for my food.
It's sustained
paying for my
because
food.
we have a temporary order in place and he's either paid that or not. The temporary orders are going to survive the final decree of divorce. So let's move on, please.
All right. Did you remember? Do you remember that in February of 2019 that we all met in court and negotiate agreement for support and custody of your child?
Yes.
And do you remember that the judge then signed temporary orders about that agreement?
Yes. And I paid that on that agreement.
Sorry,
until I
no.
lost that.
Just stay with me, please, sir.
Sustained after yes.
Yes.
And do you recall that you were ordered to pay $620 a month in child support?
Yes. From that agreement, because that was what I was making from my income. I could do that. You calculated it for my income. Is that not correct?
From the time the court signed the temporary orders, which was March of 2019.
Yes, which
Have
I
you
was
been-
making income from Accenture.
Have you been paying your child support of $620 a month?
Have I been working? You paid that, calculated it from my income from Accenture. Is that not correct, sir? That is correct. For my income, I paid it as long as I was with Accenture, because you calculated it with Accenture.
Okay, after you left Accenture, have you paid any child support?
I was not with Accenture anymore. As long as I got another job, I continued paying from my other job to her. I was out from the start, from before Accenture, before you calculated that money, sir. I was paying money to her, like I said, from Washington, from the first day I entered the country. I've never collected any dime from her.
The question
I've been
asking you,
trying.
sir, is after you left Accenture and you got a job in Miami, you moved to Miami and all of these places.
Yes.
How much did you pay in child support per month for the upkeep of your child?
As long as I had, I don't know how many months. I don't know. But as long as I had a job, as long as I had income.
Okay. Would you agree with me that in the whole of 2019,
Yeah.
you did not pay any child support?
I doubt if I did not send any money. As long as I had income, I sent. Only if I could not send because of rent. As long as I had income, I sent. I don't know. The whole of 2019, I did not have a job. I had no organization employed me. I was self-employed because I have a company that is established in the States. I incorporated in the States, self-employed, but I have no jobs. I'm waiting for contract jobs. IT is an IT company, a knowledge product of what I studied for my master's degree.
All right. Would you agree with me, Mr. Bolahan, that the whole of 2020, you paid no child support?
I don't agree.
If you don't agree, how much did you pay in child support in 2020?
I don't know. But I supported Folu somehow, financially. That moment, even when I was even getting money. So when you say child support is based on my income, like I said, back to that issue of income. Because remember, you calculated income based on organization that I was working for.
Okay. Hold on, sir. At any time after the temporary orders were issued, did you or your lawyer go back to court and adjust the child support order that the court had issued in March of 2019?
I don't know if that happened. I don't know.
Okay. Well, would you agree with me? Would you agree with me that on February 9 of 2021, that was the first time in 2 years that you actually paid child support, and you paid $200?
You mean I've not outflowed to them ever since for 2 years? Is that what you just said?
Yes.
I've not, and she confirmed that she has not gotten any money from me for 2 years, so 2019 and 2020. She confirmed that from you as well.
So I'm asking you, your first payment of child support from 2019 to 2020 was February 9 of 2021 when you paid $200. Is that not true?
I don't know.
And then March the 23rd of 2021, you also paid $200 in child support. Is that not true?
I don't know, but at least I mean, it means that economic activity is picking up that slowly because I have to rent. I'm alive. I'm still alive. Thank God. And I have to stay in apartments. I have expenses. It means I'm still alive, yes, but I mean, it just means economic activity is picking up. So back to your question, but which I'll still go and see if I did not send anything to him. I'll go see.
Okay.
I'll go
So
see.
meanwhile, when you were not paying child support and not paying things to take care of your child, how did you expect your child to survive if you don't contribute financially to his upkeep?
I worked in Accenture before 2021. Is that not correct? So I must have sent something to her. So that's back to that question. You're asking me a matter of why I'm not responsible for him. Back to that question. I worked in 2021. And so I worked in what is it called? In Accenture. And that time I was sending money to him. So that's when I got back. I was sending money from Accenture. Yeah. When I was with Kenny, I was still sending money to follow through the mother. I don't know if it's a period of 2 years. I'll go and search it. But back to your question of responsibility. How do I expect my child to survive? When I got back from, I don't know if you are going to need a statement that shows what I'm saying now. I don't know. But I told her to come see me where I'm staying when I was working in Accenture. I told her to come see me where I'm staying. I was staying with Kenny, like I told you. Come see my place where I'm staying. And she said, no. I said, fine and well. So many times I've extended for them to come and see me. Come see where I'm staying.
Well, but
So
the
it's not a
temporary
matter
orders,
of,
let
it's
me
not a
ask
matter,
you this.
okay.
Let me ask you this. Just stop right there. Let me ask you this. So
Ask me.
for the whole of 2021, how many times have you exercised your visitation rights to see your son?
So many times I've extended that, look, I want for you to come and see me in the house here. So many times. It's not a new thing. Sir,
But do you remember that the temporary orders said you were supposed to pick him up at the Walgreens on 1093 on Mason Road, but not for her to bring the child to you?
I did that for as long as I could. If I don't have a vehicle, and if I cannot go there without a vehicle, without income, without anything, then I did not do that. But as long as I could, I went there. If I have a vehicle and I can do that, I do that. You are not going to give me a job. You're not going to give me income. You are not going to do that. When I have income, I do it. And income comes from organization. You have to understand how the process is. That's the process of economic life.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I understand you.
So but I'm not going to steal. I'm not going to steal money from anybody. I'm not going to do that. And I'm going to live in a house. Okay. I'm going to pay expenses, costs. And I know that he has to leave. He wants to come. If he wants to come and stay in my presence where I'm living and eating, let him come. And that's why I say let him come. As I'm here today in Westbury Parkway, I am saying let Folu come here. She said no. On the football, come here and he can stay in the room. I can take care of him. I'm trying my best as well. She has done her best. I've not said anything. I have outlaid in cost and expensive. I have outlaid.
Okay.
I have done that.
Mr. Bolahan,
statements. Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
You make enough money to pay for Uber, can't you? Pay for Uber to come see your son?
I tell you, I don't make enough money. There's no expense for Uber. I stay indoor always, sir. Always. I stay indoor always. You cannot get to my level of understanding. I'm across. I'm in legal. I'm in business. I'm in technology. I'm across in everything. I have textbooks to read. I'm a busy man.
Mr.
Okay,
Osoro,
because you're so busy.
Mr. Osoro, any other questions of this witness?
Judge, I'm going to wrap it up in 1 minute. Okay. So because you're so busy, Mr. Bolahan, you have actually not been seeing your son. Is that correct?
I don't, like I said, I don't have money for the Uber to go. I don't have money for, and I said, let this boy come and stay with me sometime. Look, you meet me halfway, sir. You meet me halfway. I don't have money to go. I'm a young man. If you are a young man in the society, take yourself back to the years. You are privileged, thank God. And your steps, thank God. But take yourself back. If there was no economic income, if there was no income, you have to understand you're in a relationship.
Okay. Well, where does your son go to school, Mr. Bolahan?
He has a daycare. The first daycare, he changed to a second daycare. I don't know if he's still in that second daycare. I don't know where his school is right now.
Okay. I'll pass the witness, Judge.
Ms. Syed or Ms. Holmes, I'm not sure who's taking this witness, but.
Your Honor, I'm going to take this witness, please. Sir, regarding whether you know where your child attends school, has Ms. Kassim given you that information?
Well, I know he had a first close by there, Richmond, where we used to stay by Beach North. He had a daycare right there. And then suddenly, all of a sudden, I went to the daycare and he was moved from that daycare a certain day. He went to another daycare, but he's moved. He's graduated from some school. I know he's progressing in his school. I know he's moving in his school. I know he's on track with his education and with taking care to school. I know that.
Okay, sir.
Congratulations.
Do you know where he is attending?
I don't know the exact location of his daycare. No, I don't.
Not his daycare, his school.
His school, I don't. And I don't know the exact location of the house, of Lara's house as well, where Lara lives. I do not know. But I mean, it's fine. He's okay. He's going to school. He's in an organization. The daycare operates as it should operate. That's fine and well. Okay, fine. I'm grateful.
Would you like the opportunity to be more involved in your child's life? If you knew what school he was at, would you like to attend and visit him for lunch? Would you like to be able to pick him up from school? Would you like to be
I
able
have no issues with that if that is part of my responsibility. I was bathing him when he was growing up. I would have grown up with that. That would have been part of my lessons.
And so are you
and I would have taught him as well. But nevertheless, I can start learning some things from now. There's nothing, it's not rocket physics. There's nothing, if he comes here, he's going to leave and we're going to bond. And then he'll go back. It's on weekends, remember? Every first and second weekends or so.
And are you asking?
Just bonding with him.
So, Mr. Jalapamo, are you asking the court to allow you a standard possession order for visitation? Meaning,
Objection form.
Overruled.
Meaning on the first, third, and fifth Friday, would you like to be able to pick up the child from school and return him back to school on Monday morning?
Yep, I can do that. But
Okay.
you have to give me some time as well. I've just gotten this job. I've just worked a week. You have to give me some time. Let me get a car. So I could do that. So I can promise properly that I will start doing that. And that is the plan. You have to hope for the best. Let me turn to a man, develop into a man in the society.
That's understandable. And Mr. Jalapamo, after you left Accenture and you lost that job, have you been on unemployment benefits?
Yes, I have.
And that was until you recently got employment, correct?
Correct.
And you stated earlier that you're working as a security officer.
Correct. Yes, that's correct.
And how much do you earn per hour?
Right now, I earn $10 an hour.
Okay, so is it fair to say that you're earning approximate minimum wage?
Minimum wage. Biden increased that to $15, right? That applies only to Republican states. Is that correct? Sorry, Democrat states. It doesn't apply to Republicans, does it? I don't know minimum wage really, but I get $10 an hour. That's all. I don't know.
Okay, so you're earning a little bit more than minimum wage, and you're saying
minimum wage is $7.08.
$7.25, sir.
25 cents. Oh man.
And do you work 40 hours a week, sir?
It varies. Well, I try to hit, they're trying to hit sometimes, 40 hours. That's a standard time. My supervisor always tries to hit me 40 hours or even above. Well, we'll try our best. It varies, you see. But yeah, around that range, I try. 40 hours is standard.
Okay. And when did you start your job as a security officer? A week?
I started a week ago, yes.
Okay. And under your contract with this employer, does it state that you're able to get up to 40 hours a week, or are you limited?
Yes, up to.
Okay. Now, can you tell us how often you've been able to communicate with your son?
As long as there's WhatsApp, I'm less busy, and I know he's busy as well as he should be with his mother. And I just don't want to be badging in. I mean, since I cannot visit the house, I'm not welcome to the house. I don't want to be badging your phone because, so time on time without number, a lot of things weigh in my heart for calling him. So I don't just call him every day and every second. No, I don't do that. Weekends sometimes, months, but we keep in touch. I know he's lost a tooth right now,
So does he contact you on WhatsApp?
Huh?
He contacts you on WhatsApp?
He has never contacted me once. And you see, oh Lord, have mercy.
Do you talk to him with like FaceTime or like video communication?
Yes, I mean, he knows how to play Mario Kart. He knows how to play Mario World. So he knows how to contact me, but I'm not blaming him. He's growing up. I mean, the bond is what I'm saying. The bond is not there. Follow never, for him to, he's 7 years old, he should have the strength to be able to carry up a phone and pick up the phone and call me. But I understand. I'm not blaming him. I'm not
But
blaming him. He's all right.
But sir, do you wish that there was a bond? Do you wish that you could play, for example, Mario Kart with him? Do you wish that you would be able to call him?
Hey,
up?
I already used to play soccer with him. I already used to play soccer. We were meant to grow up. You see what I'm saying?
Mhm.
I already used to play soccer with him. So, I mean, it just happened as it happened. I couldn't stay in the house. I could not stay in the house.
But sir, do you wish that you could establish a bond by having more visitation with him?
That's the whole aim. Yes. That's the whole aim.
And now earlier we mentioned the agreed temporary orders where you were allotted to time with your child to pick up the child from Walgreens. Is that correct, sir?
Yes, from Walgreens.
Okay. And is it your testimony today that once you have a car, you would be able to pick up your child on the first, third, and fifth Friday?
Correct.
Now, do you have a preference of picking up your child from Walgreens or from your wife's home?
School.
Okay, you're willing to pick him up from school?
That's where I'm going to drop him. That's where I'm going to pick him up.
And now, do you believe that Petitioner has prevented you from accessing your child?
I mean, there's always room for improvement. That's just where she is right now. The bond, she's not fostered the bond. No, and this is all evidence of this. I feel, yeah.
Are
Yes.
you willing to
Yes.
try to establish a co-parenting relationship with Petitioner in order to take better care of your son?
A co-parenting relationship. What's that?
Meaning that you will communicate with her regarding your child's needs, and you would want her to do the same thing. You would want her to share information about your child. For example, which school he's attending, what are his homework, his assignments, so you guys can together parent for the child.
Yep, we're going to be doing assignments together. We're going to be doing assignments together. He's going to be here over the weekends, and he's not going to be playing. He's going to be doing his assignments. Thanks for reminding me. But yeah, that's what he's going to be doing.
Okay, and do you know whether your child has any extracurricular activities?
Swimming. I don't know if he plays the piano. He should have learned by now, or else it's already too late. Swimming. I don't know what instruments he plays.
So under the temporary orders, how often did the child come to your home?
0.
Why was the child not able to come to your home?
I don't know. I don't know.
So
As a
when you
matter of
asked-
fact, Kenny asked me the same question. He said, what was that? He said, we were living in a house. We had a 3 or 4 bedroom house right there in Baker Street, well, right there. And he said, why? I don't know. But I'm not going to force her. You see, I do not force. I only talk.
Did Petitioner
enough.
tell you? So Mr. Gilacamo, just listen to my question. Did Petitioner tell you that you were not able to take the child to your home during your period of possession?
Objection.
Yes. It was not allowed. I mean, she said,
Hold on. There's an objection. What's the objection, Mr. Soro?
Objection, leading judge.
Sustained.
Sir, why were you not allowed to take your child back to your home?
I don't know. Kenny asked me the same question. So what's going on? I mean, come and see me here. I mean, if you don't want to come and see me, just drop a child. You come later. You come pick him up. Let him come stay here with me where I'm staying.
Did somebody tell you
no.
that you weren't allowed to take the child to your home, sir?
Objection.
She doesn't want that to happen.
No,
That doesn't
objection
happen.
sustained.
That's never happened since
Next
then.
question.
So can you explain to me what happened during your visitation when you went to Walgreens to pick up your child?
We well, when I had a car, when I had my Lincoln, then when I was staying there, I took the child with me. Then when I did not have my car, we stayed at Walgreens and we just hung out there. So she came back later on and picked the child up, and I ordered my Uber and I left.
So why did you just stay at Walgreens for those hours that you were given possession?
I did not have income. I didn't have a job, but I wanted to hang out with my son. I had no money.
But why did you stay at Walgreens instead of?
Because there was no money to move around or money to do anything. Remember, I had no car. I had no income. There was no money, but I just wanted to pay courtesy
Why
visit
didn't you
to make sure I see him.
Why? So, Mr. Jalapamba, why didn't you take your child to your home?
I don't have no income, no money then.
At that time, did you
So
have?
I was living, sorry, you don't want, okay, maybe when you lawyers say you don't have no money, you have maybe some money. I don't have no money then. I want you to understand, I had no money. I'm living from my knowledge of technology, and I try to get a job, and I have a company I've registered in the United States, like I mentioned. So when I have money, I can say, okay, I could do my best. I could come pick him up in a Lincoln car. But when I have no money, I have no money. I have to just do my best.
Okay, understood. Now, how far do you live from Miss Kasim? Do you have any idea?
How far do I live right now? I don't know where she stays, but I don't know. It depends. I stay in Westbury Parkway, Houston, Texas.
Have you
77031.
Have you asked Miss Kasim to provide you with her address?
I know she doesn't want me to know. She doesn't want me to know.
Okay, do you personally feel that it's not in your child's best interest for you not to know where he's residing?
I want to know. I mean, it's even a part of security that I know. You know, what happens? I mean, I'm not saying anything, but a couple of days I called the police and the cops got here about 20, 30 an hour minutes before they go here. I respect and appreciate it. Thank you for, handling the eyesore that was happening in my environment. But what I'm saying is this. Okay, well, good things always happen. All right, very good. But still, I don't know.
Are you concerned that if your child needs help, you wouldn't be able to drive to him?
Right now, I'm sure I wouldn't be able, but I'm sure everything is okay. She's a peaceful me. I don't envisage any troubles or anything like that, but she's all right. Everything is okay there. I don't think they're going to be making any troubles. It's a cool-headed family, you see. So,
Sir, is there any danger to your wife if you knew her address?
Why should there be? Why?
I didn't hear the answer. What did you say, sir?
I said, why should there be? Is a rhetorical question, sir. Sorry. No
So
danger.
no, there's no fear of violence or anything like that that would prevent your wife from disclosing her address to you, is there?
I've never been violent in the house. She's been the one yelling, is why we're here today.
Okay. Now, sir, regarding the access code to your Echo in your room, does Miss Kasim have that access code?
The access code to what?
To your Echo?
Echo from the phone?
Okay, just ignore that, sir. Is there anything else
Access
that
code
you're?
to my Echo.
Yes.
Where is that? Echo sound.
Sir, explain to me, what are you asking from Miss Kasim today? Are you asking that her 403B and her retirement account be split evenly between you two?
I'm not asking her for a dime. I'm asking her for a dime.
So are you asking that each party?
Hold on, I didn't hear him. Did you say you're not asking for a dime?
Yes, sir. I think the 401k, a financial account.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, that's what I said. I'm not asking for anything. I'm just asking for the boy to come and know his dad. I'm getting Texas state benefit right now, pay my rent. I'm satisfied. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
So,
I
sir,
have a job, it's coming through. So, I mean, I'm not saying anything. I'm planning my way to get my passport, and you know, I'm trying my best. I'm trying my best.
okay.
So I don't want her money. It's not her money I want, ma'am. I'm just saying the boy, let him come know his dad. You know, I grew up with my dad. I had love for my dad, and I know my boy had love for me when I was growing up. But there's no bond right now. Is what it is. Dangerous. It's not good. It's not good. It's not good.
So, Mr. Jalapamo,
Uh.
it's your position today that you're asking each party keeps their own debts and their assets. And your
Yes.
wife keep her
Yes.
teacher's retirement account and her 403B.
Yes. Yes.
The only thing that you're asking for then, sir, is for standard visitation with your child. Is that correct?
That is correct. I don't even know of any 301k accounts that would, oh man, that was funny. I don't know of any account. That was why I was laughing. I'm not laughing
Now,
at any
sir,
other thing.
regarding your financial support for your child, have you always tried to send financial support to Ms. Kasim for him?
As long as I've worked, as long as I've had income, as long as I've had income. So it surprises me that you said 2 years, but I'll have to go and look at that. And because when I say income, I was receiving something, some state benefits on employment. And when I receive, I pay my rent and everything with that money straight. I mean, that's all I have to do. I just have to, I had a lease as well, you know, where I was staying there. So I was paying, but I sent something. But I mean, if he says I didn't say anything, it's okay, because I had no income. You see, I had no job. I had costs. And I know he was under a roof.
Sir, when was the last time that you spoke to your son?
Probably a month or 3 weeks, three weeks or a month ago. 3 weeks, right? Yeah, 3 weeks, about 3 weeks ago. Yeah, I always reach out. I know he's 7 years old. He can play Mario Kart right now. He can play Mario Kart. We should hand up. But I mean, like I said, still, he's a little kid. So I mean, it can't be every day or anything.
Do you always reach out to Ms. Kasim in order to have some kind of communication with your son?
Yes. I've not gotten him a phone or any communication app, so I have to reach out to her. I should get a phone. I don't want to disturb anybody. I don't want to disturb her. So I know. I mean, if she cannot give me my address, then why would she want me to disturb her? In the house, we could not live in peace. So I want her to live her life in peace. You know, I want her to live her life in peace. I want, you know, in the house, we're always fighting in the house. When I was in the house, we're always fighting. She's not me fighting. She yelling at me. Always.
Sir, you have no ill will towards Petitioner, correct?
Correct.
And you simply want more time with your son and to establish a bond with him, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. And are you asking that child support be calculated based off of your income?
From both ends?
What do you mean from both ends?
Like from hers and mine, or just mine?
It would just be yours, sir.
And okay, yeah, I mean, it's going to be coming here on the weekends. So are we? Yeah, definitely. I mean, well, let's know what his costs are. His total costs are. Let's know not the breakdown of my income without breakdown of his costs. Let's know what his total costs are. Because if it was under my own roof right now, I'll do my best as well. So let's know what his total costs are so I can take care of him as well. Yeah, sure.
So that's not the way that child support works, is that it's based off of your income.
My income, I have $10 an hour. I have $10 an hour. And so what do you say? Yep. Child support come out from my income.
So you would want child support to be calculated based off of your income of $10 an hour, correct? And not the $620 that was previously calculated based off of an increased income at Accenture, correct?
Right. So I mean, it makes more sense to be calculated now. If it is a mandatory step, then please, yeah. Who knows? But you see, exactly the same thing happens again. So I mean, yeah, go ahead, be my guest.
Syed, anything further from this witness?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Mr. Soro, anything further from this witness?
No, Josh, nothing further from the witness.
All right. Any other witnesses that you'd like to call, Mr. Usoro?
No, Judge, that's it, the plaintiff rest.
All right, petitioner arrest, Ms. Syed, any additional witnesses that you would like to call?
Your Honor, I have no additional witnesses, except that I just ask you to take judicial notice of the temporary orders that have been filed in this case, of our requested relief and the proposed parenting plan and our inventory.
Okay, any objections, Mr. Usoro, to me taking a judicial notice of those documents?
Yes, Josh, the inventory was not filed on time. As a matter of fact, it's not notarized. It's supposed to be submitted under oath. I didn't see any notary stamp on it, so we are objecting to that.
All right, well, it's not entered into evidence. The court's just taking judicial notice of it. So the objection is overruled. The court will take judicial notice of those documents. Anything further, Ms. Syed?
No, Your Honor, I just have a short closing.
Okay, I'll give each of you a brief opportunity to close. Mr. Usoro, you may proceed.
Thank you, Josh. Judge, the petitioner is requesting the court to grant her divorce, make Mr. Bolahan and herself joint managing conservators, with the petitioner remaining as the custodial parent. The petitioner is requesting that Mr. Bolahan continues to pay child support of $620 per week. And from when the temporary orders were issued in March of 2019, 31 months have elapsed. So we calculated child support from that period to be $19,220. From the record that Ms. Kasim has provided, he has paid a total of $1,760. She testified it's about $2,000, but it's actually $1,760. We're asking that the balance of $17,460 be calculated as arrearage and added to Mr. Bolahan's obligation for child support. We're asking that visitation be gradual. Mr. Bolahan himself testified that he is not in a position to exercise full visitation right now. As soon as he's able to do so, he will. So even though we're not opposed to standard possession order, we're asking that it be graduated towards a 10-year period. Until the child turns 10 years of age. Request that the parties continue to the current pickup and drop-off location, because Ms. Kazim said that the child is picked up by the daycare and from school and dropped off the daycare after school. I'm sorry, I got it mixed up. The daycare takes the child to school and brings the child back home to the daycare. The testimony has shown that Mr. Bolahan was in the United States for 10 months and was not employed, and he confirmed that he wasn't employed, although he doesn't know what time he wasn't employed. The testimony showed that Ms. Kazim met all his needs, and the testimony showed that rent was paid by Ms. Kasim. The testimony shows that Mr. Bolahan owned a Lexus RX 350 that he wrecked during the marriage. He also owned a Lincoln MKX during the marriage. Mr. Bolahan has testified that he doesn't want any part of the 403B or the TRS, and so that should be awarded to Ms. Kasim. The parties should keep whatever property they have in their possession and keep whatever debt they have in their possession and pay the debts. The party, Ms. Kasim, is asking that nobody be awarded attorney's fees. Each party will keep his attorney's fees and pay those fees to to their own attorneys. The party, Ms. Kasim, is asking that the court continue the injunctions that were in the temporary orders. In fact, the petitioner has submitted a divorce decree to the court that closely monitors what she's requesting at this time. If and when Mr. Bolahan is able to exercise his first, third, and fifth weekend visitation, he can do so without any limitations from Ms. Kasim. We agree with him that he needs to bond with his son because of the fact that the son needs a father to guide him through life.
Thank you.
Now, Judge, we asking that this case be over today. The court sign an order granting a divorce and awarding each party their property in their possession, awarding each party the debt in their possession, sign a graduated standard possession order that should fully take place when the child turns 3 years of age. That's a summary, Judge.
All right, thank you, Mr. Soro. Ms. Syed, brief closing.
Thank you, Judge. Judge, we're asking for a standard possession order for my client. As the testimony has shown, he doesn't have any kind of visitation with the child. He doesn't have a bond. I believe both parents have emphasized that they do acknowledge that there should be a bond between the child and the father. And so we are asking for that today. We're also asking that each party keep their assets and their debts, and and despite the fact that the teacher's retirement account and the 403B was not disclosed, my client has stated that he is in agreement with Ms. Kasim continuing to keep those assets. So really today we're just asking for possession and access for him that would allow him for overnight visitation and allow him to have his standard possession order. I do also object to Mr. Osuro requesting for anything that was not contained in his pleadings. For example, there was never a confirmation of child support that was requested, nor retroactive child support. So I just asked the court to only grant relief that has been pled for.
Thank you, Ms. Syed. The court's ruling is as follows, and Mr. Osuro, you will draft the decree.
Yes, Judge.
The decree is I'm gonna set entry of the decree for, I can either do October the 15th or I can do October the 22nd, whichever date works best for the lawyers. If you need a little, normally I'd give you about 2 weeks. So October 22nd probably is the better date so you have time to draft it. But I can do the 15th if that works better for the lawyers.
Judge, can you do October 29th, like we have seen in the court this morning, so that we can have enough time?
Ms. Syed, do you have any issues with the entry being October 29th?
Your Honor, that's fine.
All right, entry will be October the 29th at 9 a.m. That'll be by Zoom, just like you appeared this morning. What that means to the parties is I'm about to give a ruling, and the lawyers will take that and draft it up, and then it'll be circulated for the lawyers to sign as to form. I don't expect the parties to sign it because y'all don't necessarily agree with what I've ruled today. But if there's a disagreement between the lawyers, they'll appear back here on the 29th, and I will resolve those arguments over what goes in that order at that time.
Okay.
I can tell you both, based on what I've heard today, that I am granting the divorce, and I'm granting it based on insupportability, which means I'm not necessarily finding fault in mom. I'm not finding fault in dad. I'm just granting the divorce. This case is almost 3 years old. I know it's been a long time coming, and I'm happy that we have finished this case today. And I hope that this helps y'all get on a better path going forward. But anyways, the divorce is granted. The parties are named as joint managing conservators, so it'll be joint custody. Mother is to have the exclusive right to determine the residence of the child. That right will be limited, though, within Fort Bend County or any county that's contiguous to Fort Bend County. There'll be standard lifting of the geographic restriction language that says, you know, if dad moves back to Washington State or anywhere outside of Fort Bend or any county that touches Fort Bend, then mom's restriction is lifted at that point and she can move. Mother is also given the exclusive right to receive and disperse child support payments. Mother will have the exclusive right, after consultation with dad, to make educational, medical, and psychological or psychiatric decisions. All three of those rights require mom to consult with dad before she makes those decisions. The right for the child to marry or enlist is going to require the joint agreement of mom and dad. And all other rights under the family code are going to be exercised equally between mother and father. Father is awarded a standard possession order. Pickup and drop off will be at school. If the child is not in school, so summer access, holiday access, the pickup and drop off location is going to be the Walgreens located at 20675 FM 1093 in Richmond, Texas, 77407. So pick up and drop off is at school. If the child's not in school, then it'll be at the Walgreens. So there won't be pickup and drop off at mom's house. In addition, father is to have WhatsApp access to his son on each Monday that the child's not in his possession between 6 to 7 p.m. So that doesn't mean he can't call his son on other days. It just means, mom, that you're required to have your son available on Monday evenings between 6 and 7 in case dad wants to call. Make sure that he gets some reasonable telephone access or FaceTime access during that time, or WhatsApp access. Sir, that doesn't mean that I expect your son to be on the phone, a 7-year-old to be on the phone for an hour. That's expecting way too much of a 7-year-old. But I just want you to be able to establish this bond. You said that there's a bond missing, and part of that's been you being out of the state. Part of that's been you not having transportation. And I understand you can't drive right away, and there's going to be a period of time before you're able to do a standard possession order. But I find that the state law is sufficient in this case. I didn't hear anything that caused me to concern about your son's safety being in your care. So you will get a standard possession order. And once you can drive and you're able to afford a car, you can start exercising that right. Fathers to pay child support in the sum of $275.20. That's to begin on November the 1st of 2021. If it helps the lawyers for drafting purposes, the court found that the father earns $10 an hour, and with a 40-hour work week, his gross monthly income should be $1,733.33.
Without tax, when you remove the tax, it becomes to.
I'm not talking about taxes. I'm talking about gross income. Your taxes get taken out of that, and I'm factoring that in.
Okay.
So that's his
I'm sorry. Before you proceed, I didn't get the amount. I'm writing as fast as I can.
Okay.
$270.
His gross monthly income is $1,733.33. And so his child support obligation is $275.20. And that's to begin November the 1st.
Okay.
That's $200 a week or a month.
Hold on. If you want his net resources, I'll give you that as well. His net resources are $1,531.98. Additionally, I'm taking 9% of his pay for reimbursement of healthcare expenses by mom, and that's $156. So that gives you the numbers that I used for calculating his child support. And you can include those findings in the order. Going back to my ruling, fathers pay child support of $275.20 beginning November the 1st of 2021. The child support in the temporary orders, the child support obligations survive the final decree of divorce. I'm not confirming a child support arrearage. I didn't see a pleading that requested that, but that doesn't mean the child support isn't owed. And so there needs to be a specific provision in the decree that says the child support ordered by the court in the temporary orders, and put the date of that, will survive the entry of this order. Mother is to continue to provide health insurance for the child. Father is to reimburse mother $156 per month for medical reimbursement beginning November the 1st of 2021. Any uninsured medical expenses are to be paid 50% by mom and 50% by dad. As far as property goes, the court was of the opinion that the dad would have received 50% of the TRS account. It looks like with mom's debt, she would be awarded all of her 403B. But based on the testimony of the parties, they both felt like a fair division of the estate is they each keep the property in their possession and the debts in their name. So that's what the court's going to do. The court's going to award mom the 403B, 100% of her TRS account, the bank accounts in her name, and the credit card, all the debt associated with the credit cards that she testified about. Dad is going to keep any personal property in his possession, clothing and jewelry that he has, and he'll pay any debts that he has in his name or any debts that he's incurred. And the court finds that based on the testimony of the parties and the evidence that was presented, that is a just and right division of the marital estate. Each party will pay their own attorney's fees, and that completes the ruling of the court. Are there any issues that the parties feel the court left out that needed to be addressed? I'll ask you first, Mr. Usoro.
Yes, Josh, I heard the standard possession order, but I saw a qualified, I heard a qualifying statement that says as soon as he's able to drive and pick up his vehicle. Do we just leave it as a standard possession?
The standard possession order is going to take effect immediately. I understand he's not going to be able to exercise it because he doesn't have a car and then he needs time to get transportation. So, but I also know mom doesn't want him coming to her house, and I'm going to honor that request. But the only way I can honor that request is either putting injunctions against him getting out of the car during exchanges, which is what I was going to do. But based on the evidence that I've heard, I'm going to go ahead and grant the state law. It'll be a standard possession order effective immediately, and we'll pick up and drop off at the school, and then on the holidays, it'll be at the Walgreens. And then I can tell you, sir, if you're not there within 30 minutes, I'm not going to hold mom in contempt of court. So if you got a visitation and it starts at 6 o'clock, you need to make sure you're there by about 6:15, because if you're not, and you come into court saying she's not letting me see my child, I'm going to say, well, I told you to be there at 6 o'clock. So make sure you're really prompt on your visits. Yes, ma'am.
I just wanted to confirm, is the school pickup, is that picked up from daycare? The daycare takes him back. So pick up from his daycare or pick up from his K-12 school, or excuse me, his K-5 school?
Normally it would be from the school, and Mr. Halapama would have to contact the school and let them know the days that he's picking up. But he can pick up from the daycare. That's probably the easiest way to do it based on the fact that the child takes the bus. So yeah. Mr. Halapama, I don't know if you heard that testimony, but your son is taking a bus to and from the Children Lighthouse daycare. So your pickup and drop off, it would be easiest to do that at the Children's Lighthouse daycare. That way the daycare understands that, the child wasn't just not brought over from the school. But for purposes of drafting the order, it's going to say school because the child won't always be in daycare.
And then the only other thing is that with the child support, that's gonna have to go through the child support office, correct? Like it needs to be, so he shouldn't be giving me direct payments, correct?
Correct. It's, and the
Okay.
lawyers know that. That's state law. And I
Okay.
didn't say this on the order, but an income withholding order is authorized. So also lawyers, you can submit an income withholding order so that he doesn't have to worry about writing the checks. It'll just come directly out of his check.
Your
All right,
Honor,
all right. Yes, ma'am.
And so are both parties required to disclose their information, such as their phone numbers, their addresses, employer's address, all of that?
Yes, both parties, that's a state law too. Both parties will have to give their information out on this order, but I can tell you this, sir, I didn't find anything that caused me, I didn't hear any specific evidence that you were a threat or anything like that, but I can tell you this, you want to make sure that you don't do anything that would be construed as harassing or threatening in any way. And I'm not saying you're going to do that. I'm just warning you, because if you come back into court, let's say 6 months from now, and mom says, he's driving by my house all the time, or he's threatening to come by my house and harm me, I will immediately do all kinds of stuff that you won't like. So I'm expecting everybody to behave themselves. And you need to understand that there's state laws that say you can't, harass anybody. You can't continue to stalk somebody or go by their house. And again, I'm not saying you're going to do that. I'm just letting you know that's something that this court will address if it happens. All right. Thank you, lawyers.
sorry,
Lawyers
Judge,
did a good
Judge,
job. Lawyers
one
did a
more
good
question.
job. Hold on.
One more
Lawyers did a
question,
good-
Judge.
Yes, sir.
Is it not better to keep the injunctions in place so that we have a clear picture of what the violations may be by Mr. Bolahan if he ever does that?
Well, if neither side really requested permanent injunctions in their pleadings, but I can tell you that I don't have any problem, and I will go ahead and order that, and it's going to be joint and mutual, which means it applies to mom as well, that neither side needs to talk badly about the other parent in front of the child. Neither one is to harass or threaten the other side. That's standard language. And neither side is to use obscene or profane language to the other parent. So you can put those standard injunctions in, just make sure, because that's coming from me, not from either party. But those will be joint and mutual permanent injunctions that applies to both of the parties. And lawyers, if you have any dispute over which injunctions are standard and need to be included, I'll address that at entry. But my hope is both lawyers will just put the ones in there that make sense. And I think I've covered the ones that are most important. Okay. All right. Thank you, lawyers. And with that, we're going off the record.
Thank you, Josh.
Good luck to both of you.
Thank you, Josh. Have a good day, Josh.